right, folks, grab a seat and pour your drink neat as Whiskers and Whiskeys presents Tales of the Trophy, Season 5, Best of the Rest. I'm Mike with EJ. How's it going, pal?
It's going great. Just one of those Mondays, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's had a lovely little weekend, you know. Shoot, what did I do actually? Now I think about it. Why am I blanking? I got to watch, so I was gone in the morning. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was just an average, average weekend. Did a little mowing the lawn, kind of sick of doing that, to be
Oh,
honest with
yeah.
you.
I
Would
gotta,
rather it to be cold than
my,
be
yeah.
be
I,
done
tr
with that.
I skipped it this weekend because we had other stuff going on. And I looked at the lawn today. I'm like, oh boy, I should not have skipped. I might need to get out there this week at some point. But yeah, yeah, I hear you. I'm over it. Like
Yeah. So yeah, had that. So I kind of watched a bit of the noon games. Didn't get to watch as much as I would have liked of the 3:30 games. So like the Oregon and Indiana, I caught like the last couple drives. But I didn't really get to do too much of to watch too much of that. Got to flipped through and watched James Franklin get fired, which we can talk about in more depth in a second. So got to see that, and then night games. Yeah, I mean, I think the what was the night game this week? Michigan
I mean, I
USC was
watched what?
Michigan USC, right? Was that the
Michigan,
big one?
USC, Florida, and I watched so
Oh,
much
okay.
football, dude. Florida and A&M, Michigan, Tennessee, or I'm sorry, Michigan, USC, Auburn, Georgia. I watched some Texas Tech too, just to see their 100th anniversary uniforms and just watch them go through the Kansas Jayhawks like they were paper.
Yeah.
It was a, you know, I want to talk to you about this. Is this the best season of college football? I feel like we've had so many Saturdays. We're like, wow, what a good Saturday. What a good Saturday. What a good. I feel like this might be, and perhaps it could be because with the playoff now, there's so many games that like matter for playoff implications. But I feel like we've just been blessed with so many really good games and compelling storylines this season. It just feels like it's getting better and better every year. Like last year, I feel like I was like, this is a really good season. And this year, I'm like, we've got some great wall to wall Saturdays.
Yeah, I feel like it in my eyes, it's less about the playoff and games being meaningful because I mean you could honestly argue that the playoff is making some of these games not meaningful because there's so much room for error that wasn't there in the past. But I
Sure.
just think we're in a moment where there's just not we got so accustomed to having two or three teams that could only realistically win the championship. And maybe when it finally comes down to
Yeah.
it, in hindsight, that was the case in some of these years. But in the moment, it's, you don't know, right? You have these teams. There's not that dominant team that's going on the road beating other
Yeah.
really great teams. Like, I think it's more of that. It's like, oh my gosh, like you don't have this
Transfer
SEC dominant, team or
transfer
yeah,
portal and NIL is definitely increasing parity among the league. I
right.
agree with that too. Like that's definitely I think another piece of it. But yeah, I think it's just been a great like year. And to your point about the SEC, yeah, it's like anyone can win anytime in the SEC at this point. Like it's crazy all these games and
Or more importantly, anyone can lose at
lose
any
at
time.
anytime. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, we almost had our second DFIU. Nathan coming back from having some new babies, some twins, which was I mean, obviously he knew about it coming into it, but was a
yeah,
pleasant surprise or unexpected surprise for him. So last week he didn't play just because for our pick'em challenges because he was clearly busy. So
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I'm back this week," and he'd picked Ole Miss, and boy, they
Oh, that
were
was
30 some point favorites. He
yeah.
almost really buried himself.
I
They pulled out that last minute field goal to win, but
yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean just looking through the schedule. I mean, and this is I pretty sure I've talked about it before, but like I had to replace a sink in our master bathroom, and like they say they don't make things like they used to, which is true, but like the way that we make used to make them, what are we doing? Like a sink in 2001 that like I had, it was just impossible to take off. Like I, all the corrosion that was in there, like I could not get these handles. It took the entire Alabama game for me to get this up, but also it did take me the entire Alabama game to get it off and replace it, which helped out because I was able to watch that on my phone while replacing the sink, and worked out great. It helped me take out some of my frustration. I snapped the faucet off with my bare hands because it wasn't coming off. I was so frustrated in the first half, and then second half they just put them away, and it was great. But Mizzou is also definitely a very good football team, definitely very capable. Uh, good run game, but like I feel like Bama did box them out. Like they bottled them up pretty good when it came to the run game. They got a couple plays, but they bottled them up for the most part. That was just a little frustrating because it feel like they left a lot of points on the field, but tough place to play, man. Credit to Mizzou, they played really tough.
So when I sent you that text, because obviously you were shocked that I had, if I didn't lose my biscuit, which is a whole nother discussion because I was between two, and of
Yeah,
course you picked the wrong one.
yeah.
But I had picked Mizzou, and when I
That final
sent you
score
that,
is 63-36. My God, I didn't realize that.
oh, it
Sorry.
was 21-21 at halftime. I was watching it. It was looking great. Neither team wanted to win because they just kept turning the ball over.
Oh
But
my
North
God.
Texas was moving the ball just fine. So I felt great about it. And then in the second half, it just snowballed, right? They
Yeah, yeah.
they let them score before half, then South Florida scored after half, and they were just demoralized like as
Byron
soon as
Brown
halftime.
had 82 yards rushing. My goodness. Anyways,
Yeah, no, they did a good job. But anyway, with Mizzou, I didn't realize they had another chance at it. So I just knew I was golden because I bet it. Obviously, I didn't get to use it as pick 'em, but I bet it. So as soon as I saw them get into the red zone with like a minute 50 down 10, I'm like, great. Like, just punch it in here. Bama gets the ball, eats it. I'm fine, right? Just get to three. They're not going to kick a field goal, so I got it. I had no idea they had had another bite to the apple.
oh,
I
dude,
didn't. I had no idea.
the end of that game, I mean, there was the fake punt. There was, oh God, what all happened? There was a fake punt. It was like the craziest couple of sequences to end that game. Oh, Ty Simpson. I mean, just like sometimes I'm like, buddy, you have to have a clock in your head. Like you have to like Mizzou has good defense. They're getting to you. They're getting to you via the right tackle. Like have a clock in your head
Yeah.
of like when to get rid of that ball. But then sometimes the dot they threw to I think Waddy Brooks for the first or what it was Isaiah Horton for the first down. I was like, it was insane. It was like just a beautiful, perfect ball. And I'm like, well, all right, that does it. But I mean, the cover happened because of or no, I'm thinking of the wrong game, but no, yeah, it was I was thinking of the night game. Georgia ended up covering because Gunner just ran it in, and he should have probably kneeled down. The one but ended up diving for the
Uh,
pylon to get the tutter. But yeah, no, it was a good game. Mizzou's solid though. Like they definitely they have a
Yeah, I mean,
quite good team.
I talked to you about it. It wasn't that I necessarily thought Mizzou was going to like be equal as far as talent or anything with Alabama. It was just a tough spot for them,
Yeah,
right? You have back-to-back emotional wins against Georgia, against Vanderbilt, and then you have the third weekend in October coming up. And again, like you expected it, and then you have to go to a sleepy 11 a.m. kickoff, like local time, against a team that's off a bye and is sneaky good. Like, yeah, like
yeah,
lesser teams would have just flat out lost it.
yeah.
So even though it wasn't pretty and it, you know what I mean, like it probably drove you crazy at times. Like I think Alabama is starting to put together a resume, and I don't want to jinx them here, but like truthfully, that they can handle things and that they
Yeah.
are really, I'd say, one of the five teams that could realistically win the national championship.
And I will be wearing my black hoodie all week.
Well,
it
now it's a thing. Now
for
it's not
third
even fun
Saturday.
anymore because now he's aware of it and he's wearing it. Like it's not even cool anymore. It was a
No,
cool stat before
it's
then.
cool if they keep winning. That's super cool. That's super cool in my
You think the
book.
players are looking and it's just like, fuck, is he in
Yeah,
red today?
yes.
Fuck,
No,
fuck
his
this dude.
family. He said on game day, his family's like, like game day last week. He was like, yeah, no, my family's like, Dad, like
Yeah,
wear the black hoodie. Yeah,
because in our world today, someone will fucking try and burn his house down if he doesn't. Is the
right,
truth,
right.
right? Like you have a lady that's willing to spend her Powerball earnings to buy him out earlier in the year. So
Speaking of Powerball winnings, and massive sums of money to buy people out.
yeah,
Did you see the rumor about James Franklin?
Adidas.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like if you're, I guess when you think about brand sponsorship, and maybe it's only because like I don't think we realize or clock how just much Nike dominates the market. So
sure.
yeah, if
The
I'm
global
Adidas and
market,
this is
yeah,
like our fucking crown jewel of
yeah.
a brand, and we're gonna be spending obviously now we know a lot more than probably people realize.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah, I'm making some decisions.
Yeah, well, I doubt he kind of backtracked that and said the decision was made, but like the Adidas decision was made without Adidas, but the Adidas money helped with the
Bullshit.
buyout. And just and for everyone's awareness, well, I think it was I do think it wasn't primary. I do not think it was motivated by Adidas. I think it's probably all the boosters. They're like, hey, I gave you guys $10 million over the past 3 years. Uh, I'm sick of it. Like get rid of him. Yes, for the listeners who aren't aware, might be if you're listening to this podcast, you should be. Um, James Franklin was fired after Penn State lost their third game in a row, this time to Northwestern at home, which is just atrocious.
Can't do it.
And
Can't happen.
EJ, we were there for the first domino. Like just a few days ago, 2.5 weeks ago, we were sitting in that stadium. You got the shirt on. You got the shirt on. We were sitting that in Happy Valley, and we were there like, wow, Penn State's got a lead up by a touchdown in overtime. Like they're getting ready to, close this one out.
What a miraculous
Tough win,
comeback.
miraculous comeback, and then head on in their march towards the national championship. And then didn't get that one. Got shocked by UCLA and then just laid. He lost the team. I mean, everything I've seen, all the high, like no one on that sideline really gave a shit. If you lose to Northwest, Drew Aller apparently done for the season, which is
I told
crazy.
you.
Uh,
I texted you that. You could tell, like the way he was writhing in pain. Did they ever say if it was a knee or an ankle?
they haven't said anything. Well,
Okay.
who's gonna
Like,
say it? Who's gonna come out and say it now?
yeah, like you could tell that it was, I don't think it was a knee. I want to say it was an ankle, but you could
Yeah,
just tell it
yeah,
was serious.
yeah, yeah. Um, gosh, what else? Oh, I mean, Red River. I mean, one of my coworkers was like, trying to take this customer to Red River. I'm like, boy, I really want to go. I told you this, like, I would love to go to Red River game, but I feel like this is one of those spots too where it's like, if you're a team that's heavily favored, like if you're in Oklahoma's position, that I feel like more often than not, the team that's the scrappy underdog somehow manages to pull off a win at for Red River. And I mean, what a game! Like total great for
Was it?
Arch. Yo, did you watch it?
No, but I could see it was like 6-3 at halftime.
It was very. It was a
I think you
big.
got to be careful of saying how wonderful of a game it was.
It
Obviously,
was.
we like that.
I tuned in for most of the second half,
Okay.
which was very exciting.
Okay.
The first half that I saw, it was a big defensive struggle.
Yeah.
Which, if you're into that thing, it's exciting. The second half, though, I mean, but it was also a war of attrition, right? Like, I watched more of the second half, but what I saw in the first half was like Texas defensively was getting home. They were getting pressure on Mateer. Mateer was making surgically repaired thumb or no, he was making some bad decisions. Like his turnovers and just his incompletions. He just wasn't making good decisions with the football. And then Texas's offensive line was finally starting to impose their will. And you saw that in the second half when Wisner really broke out. and had a pretty massive second half. And Arch played really well too. I think it was a big game for him to get some of his confidence back. And if Texas can do what they're projected to do at the beginning, which they still can, like despite their losses, that their two losses that they have, and they can still get to the SEC championship game, and I think they can still get to the playoff for sure. They just have to win out. Um, and yeah, I think that they have a chance to do what was promised. We'll we'll see how it all shakes out here. But yeah, that was an exciting game. Who else do we have in the afternoon slate? Let's see. We had
I mean, Tennessee, Arkansas, so the Vols looking ahead almost, which I like that too,
oh
because for the same reason, right? Like looking ahead, Pittman being fired. So, Arkansas having a bit of just that,
mhm.
coach is gone bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee had to kind of win that one late too.
We're missing Indiana, Oregon.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, Coach Sig just I, did you have any inkling that that was going to happen?
I I wasn't sure. So it was one of those things where it was like something was going to have to give, where you have an Indiana team that's clearly great, but like the lasting memory of them against teams that could had a pulse last year was embarrassing, right? They like were blown out against Ohio State. We're not close as the score shows in the playoff against Notre Dame. So, yeah, part of me was like, I don't know, right? Like I know
Mm.
they're good. I think they can compete here. Like obviously we know what Oregon is. You're traveling from Indiana to the West Coast, which just within itself is an issue for teams going both sides, right? Going from east to west and west to east. Um, I stayed away because I didn't know that, right? Like I couldn't tell. Like I wanted to believe that it was going to be a 3-point game, right? I would have still thought the Ducks were going to win. But I wanted to believe that it would be within 7, but no. Did I think they were going to win by 10? No, I did not.
With a pick six too. I mean that Indiana's defense is nasty. That was the biggest. Like I kept flipping forth between Red River and that. Every time I went back, Indiana had the ball. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on? Like, I don't think I saw one Oregon possession. Like every time I would flip back, Indiana had the ball and they were driving. They just Indiana's defense just totally shut down the Ducks. And yeah, I mean that's what I was most surprised about was their defense. They've got some absolute dogs on defense. And credit to Indiana because I did see the pick six. So I guess I did watch an Oregon possession because I saw the pick six. Or no, that was Indiana possession. Um and Oregon pick six them. I'm like, oh well, that's it. Like thanks for showing up. Like that's a backbreaker. You've got, Otson's bumping now, like just the right shift of momentum that you need. And then they just pulled themselves together, composed themselves, and ended up putting the game away. So pretty awesome game there. Um,
And the thing, what I will say too is like, it wasn't that Oregon played bad, right? Because that can happen, right? Where
yeah.
you can lay an egg, and you let a lesser team in it, type situation. Like, no, this was a heavyweight match, similar to the whiteout game that we went to, and it
Mm,
just was like the better team won that day.
yep. Yep.
And I think the thing is now, like, I don't think there's any way to avoid saying that, like, I think Indiana has to start to be like truthfully in a national championship like conversation. I mean, Mendoza has gone from, fun kid out in Cal to like now he's the top rated quarterback going to the draft next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So, and obviously that goes a long way. And the receivers were always good collegiate receivers, even last year, right? They got them back, and the running back came from Maryland, and he was a pain in the ass because I remember because he played Michigan State. So, yeah, and then obviously, like you said, the defense is legit. So, as long as they can avoid a letdown, I mean, even if they do, they're still going to likely get a chance in the Big Ten championship game. But yeah, I think now it's
Yeah.
kind of time to start to talk about them being, potentially a Final
Yeah.
Four national championship team now.
Yeah. Well, they are number three in the nation right now for
It doesn't mean
for
anything.
good reason.
Someone has to take those. Those are also thing with those rankings is like hilarious. When I saw like Ole Miss is fourth, like, well, I'm not even thinking about it because I just know they're not going to go to the SEC championship game, right? I know they're
Yeah.
not finishing there, but
Yeah.
someone, I get it. Someone has to be ranked somewhere, right? Someone has to take these numbers,
You
but
never
like,
know, man. I mean, Ole
nah, dude,
Miss.
nah,
Yeah,
dude,
you
they're
never
losing
know.
this week, and that's the thing. Actually, if you're looking ahead here, little I love me some spot plays here, and so Texas having to go to Kentucky off a bye. I get Kentucky's bad, but like, do I really want to lay 12 and a half after an emotional game like that? And
Yeah.
then you have a similar situation where the Sooners are having to go to the Cockaboose. I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and they're
Mm-hmm.
only laying 5.5, which
Mm-hmm.
that one really makes you turn
Makes
your
you,
head.
yeah, it really makes you question what the deal is there. Yeah. Um, yeah. Who else? Oh, LSU's going to Vandy. That's interesting. Vandy's favored by 1.5. Uh oh, interesting. Georgia Tech going to Duke. Duke is favored by 1.5. That's very interesting. Huh. Huh.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting lines.
You start to have to like look ahead at some of these things. Like there's going to be a letdown. Like I can guarantee you that one of Oklahoma or Texas is not going to cover. Now I don't know if they're going to lose. I'm not
Mm.
not going to say that, but there's going to be just naturally those. Oh yeah, Ole Miss going to Georgia. Give me the Bulldogs 7.5. Like I can already tell you, we
Speaking
already
of,
know what like Lane Kiffin is on the road.
well, speaking of the Bulldogs, did you watch that game? Georgia
No, that
Auburn?
was so low on my list
Dude,
to watch those two play.
it
Sorry.
was it was I mean, I thought they were gonna riot. I mean, that was a total ref show from
Mm.
start to finish. And they were the stars of the show, and they let it be known all the time. Like the amount of not only the amount of flags, but they're calling. There's one call, well, two calls that I think are very important to mention. So, um, end of the half, like 2 minutes left in the half, or less than 2 minutes because it came out in 2 minute timeout. Auburn tried the tush push, and they fumbled, and the Georgia player picked it up and ran it back for a touchdown. And they reviewed this thing for a long ass time. And either Auburn was gonna get screwed out of a touchdown, 1 yard touchdown, or Georgia was gonna get screwed out of a 100 yard touchdown. And inexplicably, both things happened because they ruled that that was a fumble. Georgia did recover the ball, and then they just put him down at the one, which is like
Yeah, because if it's
crazy because there
yeah.
was no whistle. Like I listened to the broadcast, there was no whistle. He was gone. He was out there running touchdown.
What did they
So
rule on the field? Like they have
on the
to.
field, they ruled they ruled a turnover. Uh, did they rule a turnover? Yeah, I
They
think they did because
but
they
but that had to have been down. If they would have ruled it a touchdown the other way,
well,
then
but
there's
that's the crazy. There was no whistle. They ruled it. They said they ruled a fumble. I think that they said, and correct me if I'm wrong,
uh,
but I believe that they did say that they ruled it a turnover because I think when they reviewed, they said, "Well, I don't think that they said it was." They said that they just
maybe
said
he
the
was
runner was
down.
short of the goal line, and
Okay,
the ball or the runner lost control of the ball before it broke the plane. Georgia recovered. It'll be Georgia's ball on the Georgia won, right, and then Georgia goes down and scores a touchdown, which turned all of the momentum in the game. And it really broke Hugh Freeze and it broke Auburn because they didn't score a point in the second half. And it just like they just kind of gave up after that. But um, but it's just the thing that we like what you said, but we were talking before the show about like the announcers just not confirm, like just being idiots. Like
yeah,
the announcer kept saying, he's like, well, you can see clearly there that that he has possession when the ball crossed the goal line. And he kept saying it throughout they would show the replay throughout the broadcast. And he'd say, we're not sure what happened because it looks like he clearly has possession when the ball crossed. I'm like, no, like you're not. I almost think they're looking at the wrong defender because the guy that punches us out, his hand is like in there and the ball is coming loose. Like his hand is right where the ball is and the ball is coming loose well before it gets to the goal line. I'm like, what are you looking at, dude? So
that's just
that
a
was
whole different.
crazy.
I don't want to go on like a tangent. Like we haven't really talked about this because it was a pro situation where you had Ryan Clark. Sorry, I get he was a Steeler, but the dude's such a clown
Yeah, he
of
is
a
a little bit of a
person.
clown show. Yeah,
With his like comments to Peter Schrager a while ago about
yeah,
basically discrediting his point of view because he didn't
he
play
didn't play.
football.
Yeah, yeah.
But like that's always so silly to me because there's plenty of idiots that like okay, I didn't play professional, but like I'm not an idiot. Like I know
I'm
what
capable of understanding the
I'm
sport. Yeah,
very capable, and I'm very capable of understanding when someone is understands it better than someone else, right?
yeah.
And so but that's just like that kind of thing drives me crazy with commentators and like some of them, sorry, like Jonathan Vilma, very great New Orleans Saint, is in a broadcast. Obviously, he's like on the D-list broadcast as a color commentator on Fox for good reason. 2 weeks ago, the amount of times he said Dion Branch instead of Brian Branch, it's just like, dude, and sorry, other
Yeah.
guy, play by play, just fucking
Correct
correct
him.
him.
Yeah,
Just correct him. You can have professionally just be like, you mean Brian?
yeah.
Or hey, bro, on like the commercial break, here's the piece of paper that has everyone's fucking name on it. Like Dion Branch hasn't played football in like fucking 15
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
That we
Get it
aren't
right.
watching the Patriots here. Like,
You come to my house, you get
Jesus
my wife's, you get my
Christ.
safety's name right.
It drives me crazy when that
Yeah.
happens. It happened again. I can't remember who it was. I think they got Jamison Williams' name wrong. The next week's another like play by play or color commentator who was an ex football player. Just like, all right, guys, like let's just do this. If you don't know what the situation is, don't talk. So
Yeah.
you're talking about these guys that are like, clearly it's this and that. And then, of course, I'm sure when it was the other thing, they were like, well, like either they don't address it or it's
Yeah.
crazy, especially in the NFL when Troy Aikman is the best we got. We're
No, the
not in a
best
good
is Greg
spot.
Olson. Greg Olson's the best
Yeah,
we
but he's
got
never on
for
fucking
sure.
TV.
Yeah. One more thing that happened during the game that again, it's almost worth trying to find the broadcast and rewatch it because of how big of a clown show it was for the refs. Kirby is running down to the ref and he's going like this. Like he's clearly calling a timeout.
Okay.
And then they call the timeout and Kirby's like, "No, I was just clapping. I was just clapping." And they're like, "Oh, okay." No timeout charge, no delay of game penalty. Kirby's just like, "What? I was clapping." She's like, "Okay, that's because he's clear. Like the camera is facing this hand, but
Yeah.
you can see that the other hand is like this and not like a clapping
Right.
motion.
And I'm sure he
You know,
wasn't just doing this, to air, right?
he's
I'm sure
running
he's
towards the ref.
sprinting at a
He's
ref
sprinting at a ref.
doing this, but you were just clapping at me. You were running fast and clapping at me,
Yes. Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Yeah. So just absolutely insane. The Kirby got away with that. I honestly am shocked that those refs made it. Although I think a lot of the ire turned to Hugh Freeze because when you just don't score any points in the second half, like they just gave up. Like Hugh Freeze was just done coaching. He was so flustered after that uh turnover on the goal line that was it. I think it
Yeah.
just broke his brain. So
Well, I mean, when you have Jackson Arnold as your quarterback too, you're kind of
yeah, that too.
scared to
That too.
not score points. So,
Yeah, that too. That too.
all right, you ready?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so today we are talking about the Blue Bonnet Shield. And this game is played between the University of Baylor and Texas Christian University. And I know what you guys are thinking because I did the same thing when I was
EG, I'll just correct you. It's Baylor University, not the University of Baylor. But go
okay, great.
on.
Baylor Bears, University of Baylor University, the university in Waco. Um,
The Institution of Higher Education
sure.
in Waco, Texas.
Yes. Chip,
Chip
what's the
Gaines,
Chip
Chip and Joanna
Gaines?
Gaines.
Yeah, the home of RG3 because he's a clown now too. Um, yeah, I know you guys are wondering, right? This is Group of Five. This is best of the rest. This is we've talked about the Big 12 before.
We
Trust
have.
me, I looked at this and went, why is this? Why did I put this on the list? Why did I not include this in season 3
Yeah,
of Tales of the Trophies.
we talked about the freaking Sunflower Showdown. We didn't talk about this.
Yes, correct. Well, as it turns out, this trophy came about after we recorded. So a little bit of a spoiler here. The rivalry is a very heated rivalry, and
Hmm.
this kind of leads nicely into beyond bragging rights, where there are a lot of these really great rivalries that don't have trophies. And in this case, someone did something about that, which is nice. We have another big one this week that does not have a trophy that probably should in the Holy War. When the two Utah schools go to battle. But yeah, so this trophy is new. Can you guess what it looks like? Since I know you don't know what the Blue Bonnet Shield looks like.
I'm guessing a shield of some sort. Though I don't know what a blue bonnet shield would look like. I think of blue bonnet, I think of dairy products. Uh, just a big old shield with the well, I don't know. The name
So what do you
really is
think? Are you
throwing me for
talking
a
like
loop.
a Spartan shield, like 300, like that big, like an actual?
I'm thinking it's going to be sizable. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I don't know if it's a Spartan shield or if it's like a knight shield, like almost
Okay.
like a crest.
Hmm.
One of those. Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess either would make sense. Frontiersmen didn't really have shields, so that's difficult. Um, Perhaps is Blue Bond Shield also the name for like an umbrella? Is that what they called umbrellas back in the day? If you're wearing a blue bonnet on your head, shield your blue bonnet with an umbrella. I don't know. I don't know, EJ.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you're about to find out in a little bit.
I'm excited.
So a little bit of a snap. Oh, so I did that the next time. Let's do a. I've always, when I do this history of the rivalry, and it's really just a kind of a snapshot because we always then pivot to something else and then
Mhm.
we actually get into the history of the rivalry. So this is like a snapshot of the rivalry. It's probably, now that we're 5 years into this, is probably more appropriate for this section. But
Yeah.
the first matchup was in 1899. The game ended in a 0-0 tie. Woohoo! There were 3 ties in the first 10 matchups. So
Oh
really,
wow.
really riveting things
Yeah.
out of this. Baylor won the other 7.
Okay.
And now, after 120 meetings, this series is the most played college rivalry in the state of Texas.
Oh wow.
I know this is a sneaky one
I
where,
would not have thought that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Texas schools.
yeah,
There's so many Texas schools, and this is the most played. Wow.
yeah, and that just kind of goes to show you, unless you're an alum or a fan of these two schools, you probably don't realize that this is a rivalry. And if you're a fan of these two schools, you're probably screaming at me right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that this is. I have a coworker who's a Baylor alum, and
uh,
he definitely views TCU. I think is their most heated. Them or Tech. I think. But yeah, definitely a heat. And I remember the past couple of years when Baylor and TCU. I mean, TCU has peaked more recently. But Baylor. I mean, obviously the whole Art Briles thing really threw him for a loop. But back when those programs, when Art Briles was there, and they were playing very well, and that was there were some pretty heated matchups there, and they were both ranked pretty high at the time. So, and that was when Texas was down too. So, yeah, they were definitely the predominant Texas football universities for a minute.
um, let's. Oh, okay.
Well,
So
yeah,
the
what's the total? Yeah, what's
Yep.
the
So
yeah.
TCU leads this series 59 wins to 54 losses to 7 ties.
All right, so so no ties since or well no 3 ties okay, but
Yeah.
TCU really rebounded in the series then, which
I mean,
tracks.
yeah, and a 5 game margin is pretty razor thin. This is probably one of, for a rivalry that's played over 100 matchups, to be within 5 is this pretty evenly matched.
Very close, yeah.
All right, so why don't we do our school spotlight? Obviously, these aren't small schools, but I do think there are some pretty cool things about each school. I can't imagine that if you're going to Texas, you're traveling to Waco, or even conversely, you're probably not going to Fort Worth, to this university either. So I do think there's some pretty cool things to still talk about these schools
Yeah.
that, even though they're Power Five schools, they're probably, well, one, they weren't always that, and two, yeah, there's just probably schools that most people aren't as familiar with. So the first one, we'll start with Baylor. It is the oldest continuously operating university in Texas. So Baylor was chartered in 1845 by the Republic of Texas and has operated continuously since then, which is pretty interesting as
Also
well.
surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. It is also the largest private Baptist university. Not as surprising because most
No.
people do realize that it is. Um, uh, what's like the correct term for like a religious school? It's not a religious school.
Well, you could be thinking of like a Jesuit school, but that's
Yeah,
like a Catholic as
maybe. Okay.
opposed to. So I think just Baptist University could be. Are you thinking of like
Just a more,
another
even more general term, right? Like I feel like maybe there isn't one. For some reason, I thought there was a more general term for a school that does have like
parochial? Well,
okay.
but that's more.
No.
No,
Okay.
that's
Maybe
a
there isn't
school
one.
run by a local parish, um, Christian University.
Yeah. For some reason, I
Uh,
thought there was a term for a school. Like, remember, Mercyhurst was a private Catholic school, right? So you have Baylor, obviously Texas Christian University. Like, for some reason, I thought there was
I mean, well,
a
there's Catholic
term.
universities, there's Jesuit schools, and
Okay.
then there's evangelical Christian universities,
Yeah.
which are evangelical Protestant, and then there is ecumenical Christian universities, a broader range of Christian traditions.
Interesting. Okay.
Let me see. That's interesting. But yeah.
It is also, so you have their bear mascot, Baylor Bears, which I didn't realize this though. This is pretty interesting. So in 1914, after 70 years without an official mascot, Baylor students voted to name the bear as the mascot over many alternatives like bookworm, and eagle. And Baylor maintains live black bears. In this case, the current ones are Lady and Joy, on campus. So they actually
Oh,
have like a
nice.
bear sanctuary on campus, which is
Nice.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, each bear mascot is given the title Judge, in honor of the university's namesake, which is Judge R.E.B. Baylor. So remember when we talked about, especially in the Cascade Clash, and how unique the University of Washington University, how unique their tailgating is, right? So they have some sailgating, and we
Yes.
talked about it being on our top
I
list
kind of
of.
got you there with the whole University of Baylor, Baylor University. Now
Yeah,
you
because
said
there
University of
is some
Washington one.
weird ones. Most of the
Yeah.
time, it's a state college is
University
blank,
of like University of Washington is the University of Washington.
but
Baylor
it's Washington State University, right? But there are few schools that aren't a state school that do what Baylor does, right? Most of them are
yes.
university ofs, not unless you're a state college, right?
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
all state
Well,
colleges
you know
are.
what's interesting? I was thinking about this recently. When it comes to D1 programs, I think University of Pittsburgh is the like I thought about this very hard and I didn't go through and like research it officially. I think that University of Pittsburgh and University of Miami are the only two that I could think of that are just named after a city. University of City. Oh, Cincinnati. University of Cincinnati. Just thought of that.
Yeah, yeah, of D1 programs, you're probably right. I mean,
Yeah.
technically the University of Los Angeles, like I guess it's
University of California.
California, Los
I'm
Angeles,
leaving the
yeah.
branches out of it.
Uh,
Right. I'm because
Technically a
they are
branch.
they're affiliated with the University of California. So I'm
Yeah.
leaving all the branches out of
Berkeley,
it.
yeah.
Just University of Pittsburgh. And there's no like they have branches like Pitt Johnstown and stuff like that. I'm sure
San
University of
Diego
Miami.
State, is that technically a
No,
part
because
of?
I'm saying that's San Diego State University. Like I'm saying University of Yeah, I guess San Diego State still applies, right? And San Jose State still applies, but there's,
Fresno. But if you're out
Fresno
of the
State.
California state,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because
probably not
Texas doesn't
division.
even do that much, you know. Like,
University of Houston. That's
oh, there's
probably
one. That's another
yeah,
one.
that's
Yep.
probably.
Okay, so
But you're
there's
right. It's probably not very
it's
many,
few and
right?
far between. Yeah, yeah,
Memphis.
yeah.
Not really not meaning to poke holes in this. It's actually
No, no,
interesting
no.
though, right? Like,
Well, but
because you're thinking like,
Memphis is group of
yeah.
five. I'm talking
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
power four programs. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and Houston's just getting in there now. So
right. Yeah, yeah. They haven't
Pitt and
been.
Miami, and same with Cincinnati, they're just getting in there. Pitt and
Yeah,
Miami are the ones that have been there for forever. So
yeah. I'm actually looking at a map here. Forgot that I had
yeah,
the
I know.
map on the wall.
I looked. I was thinking about this for a while because
Uh,
there's no University of Detroit with a power one. There's no University of New York or
uh,
University of Los Angeles. Yeah, actually, University of Los Angeles was the Will Smith, Fresh Prince's college that he went to, which I don't think actually exists.
like Dallas doesn't have one.
Mm-mm.
Denver, like not D1 and or
They're
Power Four
D1
in
hockey,
football.
but
Yeah,
yeah, and lacrosse.
interesting.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, now that
Albany,
we've
University of Albany, also a very good lacrosse program. So, it's from my time living with Sean.
yeah.
We watched a lot of lacrosse. So,
Now that we have to completely pivot back to the point I was trying to make about sailgating.
that's
Well,
all right. Yeah. So, sailgating.
Seattle is not
Yes.
the only place you can sailgate. If you
Oh,
were
you can.
wondering, you can
Oh,
sailgate in Waco on the Brazos River.
is it sailgating there, or is it more like power boats like in Knoxville?
It's they call it sailgating, but
Yeah.
it's I think yeah, they're not
Well,
actually
because I
sails.
remember now that I think about it, McAfee's when he wasn't like a regular on the desk, he did do a belly flop or a gainer off of a pontoon.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of yeah, it's a punch. I mean, you can even argue out in like Seattle, most of the time you can like charter boats. Like now it's a whole thing, right? There's
Yeah.
companies that will take you for $100 around,
AJ,
around.
if we ever make out to the University of Washington, if there's not a sail on that boat, I am considering it a fail. It can be a catamaran, it can be
Yeah.
whatever, but it's got to have a sail in order
Okay.
for me to feel comfortable with what we're doing out there.
Well, or if we go out to Waco, we can say no pontoons here.
Hmm.
Sails.
No, Waco, I do want to. I do want.
We will be
I do want.
dead in the river.
I want a nice little houseboat. So
Okay, they also have the Baylor line, which is a freshman run. So new students in gold jerseys sprint onto the field before kickoff to form like a spirit tunnel. It's for freshmen, kind of like a
that's
cool
cool.
little initiation into the university and into the game day traditions.
That reminds me of
Uh,
Marin with the shirts from it's from James Madison with the
yes, where you can
yeah
flip up the was it the
yeah.
bottom of it that like the
It was the fight
written upside
song
down.
written
Yeah,
upside down so they can just look down. Yeah.
yeah. They also have Sick'em Bears, their hand sign and chant, and it is uh, it's claw and a he, yeah, and it's like I didn't leave this in for you,
I've seen it. I've seen it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you gotta well I was giving you proper directions, so I don't know if you know the proper way to Sick'em Bears.
No, I don't. I just know that that's the thing. But
Well, why don't I just share my screen here then? I'm gonna send a request here, and you can tell the people how to properly sick them. Because I probably can. Do.
doing a proper scene. Hey,
So you raise your bear claw into the air. To form a proper bear claw, grab your knee with your right hand, raise
oh,
it.
that's to make sure that you have your hand properly
Uh,
sized. So you grab your knee and then bring it up like this.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is from their website, dude. This is like legit. Shake it as if your Baylor spirit is moving up your arm. I will
Okay.
leave it up to you what the Baylor spirit is. Um, and once it reaches critical mass in your claw, so you gotta bring that Baylor spirit until it reaches critical mass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you as you're shaking your bear claw, yell a sustained hay.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and then bust out with a loud sick 'em as you swipe your bear claw down across like a bear slashing at its prey.
Hey, sick 'em.
Then, Jesus, there's a lot. Then bears. Okay.
Oh, ferociously bring your bear claw back up in the air, like a bear ripping out the still beating heart of its prey, and yell, "Bears!" Put some attitude behind it. Hey, sick 'em, bears!
There it is.
That.
Listen, did you say it was a coworker that went to Baylor?
Yes.
You got to say, listen, I read how to do a proper Sick'em Bears, and you got to bring say you tell them you got the spirit and it's reaching critical mass.
Yeah, and just rip out your heart real quick, and yeah.
That reminds me of that commercial. What
Oh,
is it? Which is it? Allstate? The dude that barks at his
yeah,
boss.
he hits her with the Georgia Bulldog bark. Yeah.
That's why I could just picture you in like a meeting doing it. Sick'em, and like they get it's only you and him, and everyone else is like,
It would get the same reaction, that commercial for sure. For
He'd
sure.
be like, "This is not the time,
Yeah,
Mike."
this is not the time, nor the place. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's go on to TCU. So TCU's mascot is a horned frog, which is actually the Texas horned lizard. It's actually a reptile. It's native to the region and has become a distinctive symbol of the university. The architecture and the TCU buff, which is pretty interesting. So many of the brick buildings on campus are built in a distinctive buff colored brick known as TCU buff. So the exception is Robert Carr Chapel, which does not follow the buff color. And again, realizing in a rush here that I excluded these pictures from your
Oh,
episode guide. So yeah, so if you're just wondering, I mean, it just looks kind of like clayish, right? Like that
yeah.
kind of light tan
Yeah.
color. But it is. It's a unique uh, attribute across most of that campus is the TCU buff.
Okay. Okay.
So also, yeah, I guess there's a couple pictures, so I'm just gonna leave my screen here unshared for you.
Yeah.
So the Frog Fountain, it's one of the iconic landmarks located on campus in the common area. It features four lily pads at different heights, symbolizing the flow of knowledge from seniors to or from freshmen to seniors.
Nice.
Yeah, so there you go.
Oh, that's a very nice fountain. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, so I feel like this is usually like a featured B role when it's a game's nationally televised
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
at TCU. Um, so you have that. Here's it in the daytime, so it's pretty cool. It's lit up purple to their colors in the nighttime, and
Yeah.
then during the day, it has you can see like the design on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Closer.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I
And
like
you can
that.
see in the background all of the buff brick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you ever meet someone, you're like, "Oh yeah, the TCU buff," they'll be like, "Oh damn, what year did you graduate?" And you're like, "Nah, I'm just a sick
Nah.
puppy when it comes to
Yeah.
college football."
Yeah. No, just collegiate architecture is mine. That's my
Collegiate
jam. Yeah.
architecture. Okay, so
Oh,
here. Yep, yeah, I know. I can't believe I excluded this
what
guy
in
from you.
the world is this?
That would be the frog horn, which is a 3,000 pound train horn that blasts for TCU scores, run by the TCU Rangers, which is also hilarious. Next to them, those
Yeah.
fancy looking fellas.
Yeah.
So here's the story behind it. And I'm just gonna read this directly because that's why I just included
Wow.
the link instead of putting this in the
The
doc.
froghorn, by the way, folks, looks like a miniature Zamboni, clad in purple, with eyes and everything, and lightning bolts down the side, and then two big like exhausts coming out of it, out of the top of it, like horns, with smoke billowing from them. I did not realize they had that, but it
Yeah.
really makes the whole toad thing seems like someone's definitely licking frogs that's in charge of their school spirit department.
So I'm gonna read this. I'll try and go through this quickly because it it has quite a few some interesting facts, obviously, about the origin of this thing. And truthfully, listeners, like when you see this picture, you're gonna want to know more, right? Like it's so weird and unique. And truthfully, if this was just like a trophy, that would be like, if this was the trophy they played for, that would be awesome. If you just
Yeah.
got to like tote this 3,000 pound thing back and forth. But this is an article from the TCU magazine written by Nancy Bardasek. So this just gives a little bit more information about this. So it says here, I'm just going to read it word for word since it's kind of, written with a little bit of a flair here. It's 1958, and the number 9 Frogs are trouncing the number 16 Longhorns at Ammon G. Carter Stadium. In the south end zone, Kappa Sigma brothers George Pookie Powell and Theron Brooks have hoisted a homemade contraption onto the rail and are waiting for the Frogs to score again. When they do, the enterprising young men wrench open a valve, and everything comes to a standstill as the stadium fills with the roar of a borrowed train whistle that the boys had cobbled onto the air of an at the end of an air canister. So it says borrowed in parentheses.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
we know what that means. Turning it off isn't so easy. The thing blasts for 15 minutes before the air finally runs out.
Pardon me.
The game is stopped, and the officials ungraciously escort the boys from the stadium. Whoopsies. It's 1994, and the football coach, Pat Sullivan, wonders aloud to the alums, Ted Lang, why TCU doesn't have any football traditions to get the crowd involved. Hey, shout out Coach Pat, you
Yeah.
know?
Instead, just be like, what the hell is that ruining my momentum? Like, hey, you know what? Why don't we make this thing official? Just
Oh
needs
no,
to be
this was
heavier.
this was decades later. So that was
Oh,
1958. This is 1994, and this
oh,
coach is just talking to an alum from that era, just like, hey, this is kind of lame. We don't have any like game day traditions in the 90s here. Like, that seems kind of lame. Well, Lang remembers the horn prank and calls his Kappa Sigma buddy Larry Liddick, which was also from that 59 year, and the two enlist another pal from their TCU era, Bill Steele, a local businessman and TCU trustee, to help them recreate the 1958 sound, but this time to do it right. So Steele calls fellow trustee and Burlington Northern Railroad CEO Gerald Grinstein and asks, "Could you guys make us a horn that could really blast at a football game?" He said, "I got you, pal. Let's handle it." So 4 hours later, Steele and Lang are faxed preliminary drawings for a new contraption. This one might be a little bit more than they thought, than the original one. So the horn is born. A small group of men at Springfield, Missouri, Burlington's in Springfield, Missouri maintenance shop had less than 4 weeks to complete the horn, but the challenge energized them, as then General Superintendent of Locomotive Operations, Dale Prop. He's the one that oversaw it. So he says that they were very skilled craftsmen. We had a lot of creative folks on it, and they just fell in love with the project. Never at a railroad had they ever built something like this, obviously.
yeah.
And I think that he said, I think they put 14 coats of paint on it.
The paint is pretty extreme. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Also makes me wonder how heavy of a trophy you think we can design for someone. Like to your point about this thing being, if it were to be a trophy, hauling around 3,000 pounds. Like how heavy could we get, and
Yeah,
who would that be played between? Something to think about.
it is something to think about. But this is far from over. I have some more little tidbits here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We this is a great article. And yeah, if you guys want to read more about this, this is pretty cool. And like I said, once you guys see this picture, it's just gonna really come into. Honestly, Mike, you should probably describe it again. So you kind of like quickly talked about it, but there's like a paint job on it that also like um brings to life what this really looks like. But let me finish a little bit more of this story. So they obviously they created this horn. So during conversations between Prop, Steele, and Lang, the trailer with the horn, so that's probably what best describes it, right? Is it's a trailer,
Yes.
expanded to include marquee lights for TCU logo. So that
Yes.
logo on the side are actually like individual light bulbs,
Yes. Yes.
which is pretty cool too. It's kind of hard to see in that picture, but there's another picture on this website that shows that it's like the C itself is actually 4, 8, 12,
Oh, I
16
see.
light bulbs.
I got it pulled up here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There, it's like the lights that you'd see like Vegas lights,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good description of it.
yeah,
So they added that a purple theatrical smoke that poured from the two chrome horns on top. And it said that the bell is all brass. There's
yep,
a bell on top as well, and that's
yep.
probably $15,000 alone. So
15,000.
yeah.
Yeah, because that bell, the one picture I see, the bell is cranking. There's three air horns. There's
Hmm.
the two smokestacks. The eyes of because the front of the trailer is a frog's face, a menacing frog face, and the eyes are green lights on the frog face too.
Yeah, this thing is actually really cool.
Yes,
Um,
yes, it is.
So let's see here. I don't necessarily want to read all of this. So yeah, so it was introduced in the 90s here. It was the night before the game was okay, so this was September 17th, 1994, a home opener against Kansas. So that was the game that this thing was introduced. So it was formally unveiled the night before at a TCU purple powered pep rally. Holy cow. Purple powered pep rally in downtown Fort Worth. And the Burlingtons, the company that actually created the locomotive horn, was the one that unveiled it. Like a Grinstein, who we talked about, he was there to introduce it. Let's see here. And then there's a section here that talks about care and feeding. So being the horn blower is a labor intensive activity requiring a high level of commitment. Not only does it appearances, maintenance is complicated. So for the first few years, Johnson and a now defunct Lariats were in charge of the horn. While the horn is configured to run on gasoline or electricity, there wasn't any plug on the on the field for a year or two. It kind of makes it hard to use electricity. So the Johnson, who is, I don't know that I introduced him earlier, Matt Johnson. So he was the president of the spirit group called the Lariats, which I had mentioned was now defunct. So he was kind of one of the first keepers of this horn. He said, we had to run the engine to power it, and it was a hog. We were carrying 20 gallons of gas to the field in
Whoa.
in cans nearly every quarter. So every
Every
quarter,
quarter it went through 20 gallons.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And if the wind wasn't blowing, the exhaust would choke everyone. Yeah. This is like such a Texas thing too, that they just
Yeah,
have this diesel guzzling like environmental just nightmare hanging out on a field poisoning
I
families.
love it. Poisoning everyone. I love it.
So in
Oh,
subsequent years, Kenny Frogman Vaughn, awesome name,
yeah.
is an electrician in a physical plant. Jeff Tucker served as the cheerleading coach for several years, put many volunteer hours as the horns keeper. And then since 2020 or since 2002, former roommates and band members Justin Garvin and Jason Lessaker, along with Justin's dad Jim Garvin, have lovingly cared for the horn, keeping it in running condition and managing it at games. It takes all three of them. So one to watch the game and cue a second handler to ring the bell or blow the horn at the right time. Obviously, a very important task since blasts at the wrong time can violate NCAA rules.
Right, right.
And one to keep others at an appropriate distance.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so Lessaker keeps it at a secure facility on his ranch west of town and handles all maintenance and repairs, mostly out of his own pocket, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
He says, I'm quite impressed with what Burlington Northern did. I've torn it apart to repair it and put it back together. At one point the horn wasn't blasting like it should, so I cleaned it up and got it working right again. Yeah, so it's a fairly needy piece of machinery. It is, well, it says 16 years old, but I don't know when this was done, 2010. So that makes it,
Add another 1631.
yeah, 31 years. Holy cow, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, so that's probably it. I mean, there's a lot of other things to talk about here with this, but I'd say that was pretty. Oh, one thing that no one has fixed, which is okay. This is a fun little fun fact here, is a dent near the front that an opponent, reportedly a Texas Tech player, put there with his helmet in a moment of extreme frustration as at the Frog's success on the field. And Lassiter said it's part of the history, so we've left it there.
Nice. I like
Nice.
it.
So yeah, just a
Yeah.
nice little helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like there's also pictures of people, alumni and students taking pictures at graduation with it. Seeing as it's such a big deal, uh, that makes sense. It's the world's largest college noisemaker.
Yep. I can't imagine one being bigger.
So I thought that was just a really cool story. It makes it really unique. Truthfully, I don't know that I was ever dying to go to a TCU game. But I kind of need to see this thing now,
Yeah.
right? And I kind of need to like talk to these keepers about this. I feel like that would be a really cool, fun
Yes.
interview because I'm sure they would. No one asked them about this fucking thing, outside of like alum. So I think that would be a pretty cool thing to try and talk to
Absolutely.
them. Okay, two more quick things here about TCU before we move on to the rivalry or pivot back to it. So they have a Riff Ram chant. At more than 100 years old, Riff Ram is rumored to be the oldest chant in the Southwest Conference, which is where they were before, where it rose to popularity in the early days of college sports. So it's Riff Ram Bazoo. Never,
Riff Ram Bazoo.
yeah.
Okay. What does that mean?
Don't know.
uh,
Then they obviously, when we were learning sick 'em bears or hey, sick 'em bears.
yep, yep. Gotta get the shake.
Yeah.
And
Hold on, let me
then,
grab my knee to make sure I have the
yeah.
appropriate size.
Hey, Sick'em
Hmm.
Bears.
You also have the frogs, which is yeah, like a
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Well,
you
horned
get your
frog. Yeah.
um yeah. So that was introduced in 1980, if you were wondering. The Go Frogs hand sign.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the history of the rivalry. So this history comes straight from the Baylor website. So I'm just going to read directly from there. Obviously, this also helps kind of solidify these for people that aren't familiar, that it is a pretty big deal. Usually universities, when they talk about traditions, only include maybe one rivalry, maybe two. So the fact that Baylor has this on their website and wants to talk about it, kind of, I feel like, again, solidifies how big of a rivalry it is for these two schools. So the website says the rivalry between Baylor University and Texas Christian University runs deep, with an extensive history of competition in football, baseball, and several other sports. Until 1910, both TCU and Baylor called Waco home. So TCU, called Adran Christian University, moved to Waco in 1895, just shy of 10 years after Baylor's arrival from Independence, Texas. And so so this started as a crosstown rivalry, which is pretty interesting. Baylor played its first football game, like I mentioned, against TCU in 1899. The game ended in a 0-0 tie, but would become one of the longest standing rivalries, like I mentioned. In 1908, there was some controversy between the schools when TCU published an article in their school paper, The Skiff, accusing a Baylor player of cheating. This helped promote the rivalry in another notable game on Thanksgiving of 1909, when Baylor proved victorious, which has the distinction of being the nation's first homecoming football game?
Oh, the first.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Then in the spring of 1910, TCU's main academic building was destroyed by fire.
Ooh,
In a true show of sportsmanship and partnership, Baylor University officials assisted TCU in finding housing for misplaced students and opened up labs and libraries for their use.
nice, nice.
The rivalry kind of cooled down as TCU explored options for their new campus that extended beyond the Waco city limits. Ultimately, TCU now is in Fort Worth. After city officials offered a generous bid and a large plot of land to the university.
That'll do it.
Despite the distance, the rivalry was reignited when the teams both joined the Southwest Conference. So Baylor did it in 1914, TCU in 1923. And then in 1938, TCU won the national championship and a Heisman. They had the Heisman year, a player that year, Davy O'Brien.
Oh,
And that,
heard of that
yeah,
guy.
yeah, good old Davy.
Mm-hmm.
So by 1972, when Grant Teef became head coach of the Baylor football team, many fear that the rivalry with TCU was fizzling out as the Bears had lost the previous 8 consecutive games against TCU. But under Teef, the Bears came back to win 11 of the next 13 matches against the Horned Frogs. And the two schools were Southwest Conference members together for nearly 75 years until the conference disbanded in 1996.
Oh, pretty shrieky there.
Yeah. And the dissolution of the Southwest Conference led to another point of bitterness between these two schools, as Baylor was invited to join the Big 12, and TCU was not.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No,
I
they're
seem to
more of a
recall that.
recent addition.
Yeah.
TCU moved between 3 different conferences, ultimately finding success in the Mountain West Conference. And then from 2006 to 2011, the Bears played the Horned Frogs in non-conference football games, which with each winning 3 of those games. And then when TCU joined the Big 12 in 2012, the overall football series record between the two was tied 52-52 with the 7 ties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither school has a Big 12 rival that is closer than the other, with Waco and Fort Worth being only 86 miles apart. So still not too far.
Yeah.
Obviously, being crosstown was very close, but
Yeah.
86 miles. I mean, if I had to guess, it's probably similar to like Michigan State. Like if I'm thinking of it in like terms of like time, right? You
Yeah.
say like,
Yeah.
a minute per hour type deal if you're on a highway.
Yeah.
So it's probably pretty close to what Michigan and
Hmm.
Michigan State are as well.
Hmm.
And then, what's in a name? So the TCU Baylor rivalry has been called various things since the first time they met, including long stretches where it was named nothing at all. And so the rivalry never received an official name despite its considerable history. But in 2022, the student governments of both universities began an initiative to develop a name and a formal concept for the rivalry. The group considered the naming process to be one of the most important elements of the initiative and understood it would be likely the most contentious component, right, to
Of
complete.
course. Yeah.
So both student governments endeavored to identify a rivalry name that, one, represented both institutions well, and two, signified the rivalry's stake in the athletic history of the state, and then three, would be timeless. Texas is known for its beautiful wildflower blooms each spring, but none more celebrated than the bluebonnet, which is the state flower of Texas.
Okay. There we go.
And I-35 connects both Waco and Fort Worth, and it's flanked during the spring season by miles of bluebonnets as well. So these flowers do not simply just represent the state, but also the geographic connection between the two universities.
Okay.
So then, after hours of deliberation and dialogue between the student leaders at both schools, the bluebonnet emerged as the unifying symbol that met the 3 objectives, and that's how the Bluebonnet Battle emerged as the rivalry name.
Okay. Okay.
So then, why don't you scroll down and tell us what this bluebonnet shield looks like?
I can't do that.
What?
There are no pictures of the blue
Do
bonnet
not
shield.
tell me I did not include pictures. Okay. Well, then let me just
I'm
grab
looking at what a blue bonnet flower looks like.
them.
It just
uh,
looks like a blue bonnet. Like when you think of like a bonnet hat, yeah, I see how it got its name. Yeah.
yeah, folks, this is what happens so typically, just to give you a little behind the scenes as give Mike access to this essentially. I usually withhold most of the details of I give him an episode sheet, a show sheet, and usually it just includes the titles of the sections, and I keep out all the meat so that he genuinely is surprised and his color commentary all after all of these years are really just off the cusp. Like he does not get to study this beforehand, and I really try and hide definitely like what these trophies look like. So yes. So in this case, I usually upload it for him to see and clean it, and remove all the things I need to. And I have a copy that has all the details. But this time I had to do this right before we recorded, and I pretty hastily deleted too many things,
That's all
as
right. That's all right.
as
This
as
happens.
we've talked about for the entire episode. So now it is on there. Mike, please tell us what
Wow.
this bad boy looks like.
That is very pretty. Man, how do I even describe this? Okay, so it's a wooden base. Um, but it looks to be pretty flat as far as a wooden base goes. Like it's, probably like an inch or two deep, uh, but tall, tallish. I would say probably 2 feet, something like that. Um, the wood it's very hard for me to describe. So I guess at the bottom of the base there's a star, a lone star, lone stars, right? See what they did there. And then the way they have the wood manufactured into this, it's like it's right. So they have pieces of wood with like a lot of graining in it, and like they didn't just like put the wood in horizontally or vertically. It's like at an angle, and it's a triangle, right? Where it's like the triangle gets it's a scalene triangle where the triangle gets smaller towards the star. So it looks like the wood is like bursting out the star, and it creates this really cool like
Shining
warp
like a
speed.
sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like shining like a sun. I was thinking like a warp speed, like when you
Yeah.
when
Oh
you
yeah.
hit the warp drive and the stars.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what it looks like. And then above that, there's like a half circle piece of wood. And it says the Bluebonnet Battle. And then above that, the wood is essentially holding a black circle. And this is really nice, neat too. So in the black circle, there is the white outline of the state of Texas with a black two black dots. I would assume that's Waco and Fort Worth. And then above the state of Texas, there's BU, Baylor's logo, and a very, very beautiful like green, like marbled green, and then TCU in like a marbled purple. And then below the state of Texas, there is the 1899. And then next to that on the left and right, there is Bluebonnet Flowers. This is a really nice, this is a really nice trophy. It looks quite nice. I see something about artists and backlash though. I don't know what this would be because I think this is a nice looking trophy. I want to hear more.
So in 2006, the student government leaders agreed a trophy that represented the rivalry should be significant in size, unique in design, and inclusive of symbolic elements from both
Well, you
university.
said 2006.
Yes. So this is when they started to
Interesting.
talk about this,
Okay.
but it didn't actually come to fruition until 2023.
Oh, wow.
So that was that was like the first discussions in 2006. So this is a one of a kind trophy is comprised of two pieces. So let me tell you, there was only the one picture. I did not see any on-field pictures with the players, so it is very much I do not have the answer to whether this is just something that's exchanged between student governments, which has happened in the past with some trophies, or if this is something that the players, get to have on the field. But
Oh
it
my
does.
God. I just looked at more images. Go ahead. Keep
Oh,
going.
you found more?
Keep going. I found
Okay.
one at the back of the trophy. Did you find one at the back of the
No,
trophy?
I really didn't find too many
Oh.
other pictures. So this is a one of a kind trophy that's comprised of two pieces. So the base is constructed of wood salvaged from a historic Texas church. And
Nice.
as you described, it features a lone star, which is a symbol of the state of Texas. And on the back of the trophy, okay, so it has a description here, but you can probably talk about what it looks like because I really haven't seen it. It has a plaque that reads, "In honor of the hit of the rivalry established in 1899, this trophy was commissioned in a joint effort by student governments of Baylor University and Texas Christian University in May of 2020." Or just in 2023. May it be forever remembered as a rivalry of respect created by students for the students.
EJ, look at the picture I just dropped in. Look at the back of the trophy.
Shit. Oh, I have to go back
In
into the
in my
doc.
doc.
Oh
In my
man,
doc.
got out of there, doc. Give me a second. Oh, I probably could have just gone straight there. Huh? Sorry, I took the long
It's
way.
okay. It's okay.
Took the long way home. That's all I can say, or we'll get copyrighted. Oh, okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
It's
are
it's what it's what we're hoping. I really don't have a definitive answer to whether or not this gets used, but go ahead. Tell them what you
there
tell
are
'em.
two straps
Yeah.
on the back of that black part, the shield, as it
Yeah.
were. There are two straps. So as if it could be wielded like a shield. That's hell yeah. So I guess that shield part can probably be taken off and it just sits in the wooden part. And the wooden part's actually look at some of these other angles. It's definitely deeper than I thought. Like I'd said only 2 inches deep. It looks to be a good like 6 inches deep, and this shield definitely sits in it.
Yeah.
So I am assuming that the shield can be taken off
I mean, it
and
says it's
worn.
comprised of two pieces. So I was under
Yeah.
the assumption it could. I just didn't see any pictures of people doing it.
Oh, yeah, it can be. I found a picture of some members of the Baylor student body holding just the shield.
Okay.
So yeah, you definitely can take the shield off.
Will you drop
That's
those in here too? Because I'll add
yeah,
them into the YouTube. I really didn't see any other ones. I didn't look super hard, but I
yeah. You
didn't
see
see.
that?
Oh yeah, sick 'em.
Sick 'em.
Okay, so the top of the trophy is a circular steel shield that represents the strong bond between the two universities through their significant shared history. The shield represents the passionate competition the two institutions have shared for over a century and ties the trophy to the name of the rivalry. The center of the shield features, as you mentioned, the state of Texas, which is flanked on the left and right by hand painted metal blue bonnets.
Yeah.
Located prominently on the top of the shield are the Baylor and TCU logos, like you mentioned, and the date of that began the storied rivalry in 1899 is located on the bottom. So the artist. So it was renowned artist and Baylor alumnus Brian Stanton was commissioned to design the trophy by the student government leaders. Stanton and his team were familiar with other Baylor products, such as the All University Sing Trophy and the Eternal Flame that burns throughout homecoming. And then in the summer of 2023, Stanton began the process of designing and handcrafting the trophy in his studio in Waco, Texas. However, there was some backlash. So it was mainly the new name, as we had mentioned earlier, and the trophy were immediately ridiculed by many online, who widely called for the universities to rethink their decision. So TCU's announcement video was flooded with comments calling for the school's return to the name Revivalry. For many involved in the process, this backlash came to as a shock. So someone said, I was super surprised that it got a lot of backlash. I would think people would be encouraged that student governments would want to take an initiative on products or projects like this and be kind of at the forefront of this rivalry that can go for on for a long time. So even members of the community that were so critical kind of the name change I thought was surprising. So I
Yeah.
think it was because people like fans would call it the revivalry. So then when it got a name that felt, I will say we've done a ton of these, and I'm honestly shocked that it's not the Bluebonnet Shield sponsored by fucking I don't know, like Texas meat, or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever the meat company would be in the area. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so I can understand where if it just has this nickname for years and years, when you get something new and it changes. But I think it's something that people are going to get over real
Yeah.
quick.
Unpunch your panties.
And in about a decade or 2 decades, they're going to look back and be like, this is fucking awesome. This is
Yeah.
one of the best,
I
right?
agree
Like,
completely.
I don't give a shit about this golden hat that gets worn at the Texas State Fair, right? Like, look at this goddamn shield,
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
people are going to be saying.
Gotta get on the field. Gotta get on the field.
Yep.
That's what we need. Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's all I got for you.
Okay. Well, let's get to our game. Stop me when you see something better. Um, okay. First up, and we are given that we this is a Big 12 trophy. I figure we rank against a couple Big 12 trophies. So start
Okay.
out a little easy here with the telephone trophy. Uh, Iowa State and was the telephone trophy played against?
I want to say it was Kansas, but I could be wrong here.
Mizzou, Iowa State, Mizzou.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Um, Uh, I'm gonna keep it moving, right?
Yeah,
Like I feel like I don't know what we rated that one. I
not
think it's
very high, not
yeah, I
very
think
high.
it's interesting that it is a rotary telephone, which is pretty cool and unique. I mean, it's the wooden base is just kind of blah.
Yeah,
But it is kind of a cool trophy. But yeah, I think we can move.
yeah, they have rubber bands holding the phone to it, so no, that's
Well, because they take it off of it, like, so
yeah,
that's kind of a cool.
yeah, yeah. But this is a shield, so
Yeah.
uh, number two, the wagon wheel between BYU and Utah State, massive ass wagon wheel.
So I will keep it moving because there's more than one wagon wheel. And I don't
Yes.
want to I will say I don't know off the top of my head which one came first. Obviously, if you are the university or the two universities that did it first, you have a lot more, claim to it, right? But still it's just an old wagon wheel. I think like I do like the history of it, and I think it is, I believe, if I remember correctly, an authentic, like old time wagon
Mm,
wheel, which makes it pretty cool. Since this one's obviously a newer one. Um, but like you said, it's just what it visually looks like.
yeah.
It's so pretty.
And I'll say this, TCU may have the best rivalry trophies because they've got the Iron Skillet,
Hmm.
they've got the Blue Bond Shield, and they've also got this bad boy, the Saddle Trophy between TCU and Texas Tech.
Battle for the saddle.
I know. It's a good one. Comes with their own box.
Has to.
It has to.
Um, Shoot, this one's tough because like
Mm,
the history behind the saddle, obviously this rivalry, as we've learned, is actually more intense and longer
mhm.
than Texas Tech and TCU. Um,
Yeah, the Texas Tech guy put his helmet into the froghorn. So
he did. Oh, I know that froghorn. It's really hard to come away from that. I don't know. This is that typical like I like the history and the notoriety of the saddle.
mhm.
Um, I'm disappointed that we haven't seen pictures, which means it probably doesn't get on the field with the shield. But I think like visually, I think I like the shield and I like the idea of it being like wielded. And
Yeah.
then I like the idea of it actually like representing um, a rivalry that's more intense. But I'm gonna stick with the saddle just because I know what the saddle means to those two schools in
Mhm.
that rivalry, and I don't quite know that there's. I mean, I know the student governments have a buy-in, but I don't know that the fans and the players. And I could be completely wrong. Obviously, it's only been a couple years, and
Mhm.
there hasn't been a ton written about it yet. But I
Well,
will say it's probably close to me. Like it's
yeah.
already close because it visually is just fucking gorgeous, and it
Yeah.
makes a ton of sense. Um, but I'll stick with the saddle. But I think
Okay.
that's just like probably misplaced. Like I don't know, like in this nostalgia.
Yeah, I do really like the saddle. Like I loved it whenever we covered it. It's one of my favorites. I've been waiting to put it in somewhere because I love it so much. So it felt like a no-brainer. So, um, I think I don't know. I do like that shield a lot.
Yeah,
I just love the woodwork on it too. It looks so good,
I
especially
know.
from Overclaimed Church. I'll probably, for the sake of it, keep it going.
Yeah,
And since you're on the fence, we should keep it going. The last one. You mentioned
I
you
did say
mentioned it.
I did
You
say that.
you mentioned it. You said screw this golden hat. Well, what do you think about the golden hat compared to the blue bond shield?
I mean, it's the golden hat.
It's
It's
the golden
just
hat.
it's too iconic,
Yeah.
and it's a rivalry that's so iconic. And while I don't love that it never gets to go on campus, the rivalry, I think doing it at the Cotton Bowl
The state
such
fair.
with the
Yeah.
state fair is what makes it different than
Yes.
just like a neutral site, right? They're
Yes.
not money grabbing at like, AT&T Stadium, Cowboy Stadium and shit like that, which I'm sure they've probably gotten like pressured to do over the years to move it into this state of the art NFL stadium versus sticking at the Cotton Bowl and doing it like they do with the whole fair. Um, but yeah, I just think like the tradition and just those schools are always
Yeah.
fighting for
Yeah.
something, right?
The golden hat clears most things,
Yeah,
honestly, for
it
me.
does.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's the golden hat, It's the combo, especially coming off such a great Red River that we just saw this weekend. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So this game will be played this Saturday, in Fort Worth at noon
Hopefully
on
we get to
ES.
see the blue bonnet on the field. So
Yes, hopefully. It's on ESPN2, so it's going to be definitely one of the more marquee games. The spread is 2.5 in TCU's favor of the home team. So what are your initial thoughts? Because I know we liked Baylor to begin, and they're still in it. I think Texas Tech has kind of risen above the rest, but still has to play a very important game this Saturday as well against Arizona State, even if it is against their backup. And obviously we talked about Utah kind of being in the merge, and they were one of your sleeper teams there. But TCU has actually been a bit of a surprise for us, and
yeah.
they are in this fight, right?
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
have not been eliminated at all, and I feel like this game probably eliminates one of the two schools from at least the Big 12 championship, which then obviously likely eliminates them from the playoff. So, what are your initial gut like feelings for
I
this
am
game?
very wary of this game, like just any rivalry game in general, but also Baylor got pretty hot at the end of the year last year. This is the time of year where teams really start to put together. So I am pretty wary on both sides
Yeah.
of this rivalry. I'm definitely probably gonna stay away from this one. Because I could definitely see it going either direction. Um, I think I am hoping for and expecting a close game. Um, I think it's going to come down to a field goal. Just depends who's kicking it. So I don't know. I hate to. I guess that's no fun to just him and Han be in the middle of it. So I'm going to say, I think Baylor gets it done. I think Baylor pulls the upset here on this one. Yeah, just probably better quarterback play, I think, is what gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like, I will definitely not bet this. I definitely, my gut says this is going to be last team with it. Like, I
Hmm.
obviously I love Baylor. I had them in the Big 12 championship game. I think Sawyer Robertson's fantastic and the way that they score points. And like I said, TCU has been a pleasant surprise, and they've won quite a few games. Obviously at home, like you said, it's a rivalry game. So I really am gonna say, kind of one of those last teams to have the ball wins
Whoever
it.
gets the ball last, yeah.
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 Yeah, but it should be an exciting game, and I honestly haven't really looked at the slates this week beside the biscuits that I'm already. There's a couple games I know I'm already going to pick, and I sent them to you already. But I haven't actually like looked holistically at the schedule.
Hmm.
But this is definitely, I mean, obviously ESPN2 tells you that it's clearly one of the better games on the noon time
Yeah.
slot. But I'm
I'm
definitely
just
going
gonna
to
be
probably have
killing
this
time
on.
till 7:30, brother. Like I'll be watching things, but I'm
Oh,
gonna
we
have
didn't
one
even
thing on my
talk about
mind.
this though. Are you still on the hook
For what?
for
Oh no,
babysitting?
no, I'm good. That got cleared up. Yeah, yeah. Solo
What?
dolo. Yeah, yeah,
Bury the lead there.
yeah.
This guy a month ago was like, guess what my wife did? Said yes to babysitting some other person's kid,
Two
little
kids.
kid, two kids, young kids on the third weekend in October, which clearly she doesn't know what that means. It does
Mhm.
not have that internalized. And so vibes are pretty low for you then.
Vibes
And
were,
I think like Babel had lost too,
yeah.
so you're like,
Vibes
fine,
were
it's
in the
good anyway.
absolute basement. Well, I think they like beating Wisconsin, like,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the Wisconsin was coming. So like it was still, I was still pretty skeptical. But yeah, it's
Oh, that's awesome. Is that a night game? I
yeah,
haven't even
they
looked at the schedule.
7:30 kick. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So they yeah, so that's pretty good.
there you go.
Very excited. So yeah. Yeah.
And that's going to do it for us this week. Follow us on Instagram at whiskers.whiskies, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And join us next week when we talk about the Silver Shacko. For Mike, I'm EJ. Always remember, too much of anything is bad. Too much good whiskey is barely enough.
Cheers, boys.